Live from New York, it's Ask an Engineer.
Hey everybody, and welcome to Ask Engineer. It's me, Ladyada the engineer, with me, Mr. Ladyada on camera control, broadcasting live from downtown Manhattan. That's where we have the Adafruit factory. We do the kitting and testing and coding and soldering, all the electronic goodies and content that you know and love. For the next 45-ish minutes, we're going to be doing our show, Ask Engineer, featuring us. We've got all sorts of stuff, videos, new products, INPI, it's not out yet, top secrets, and more. Mr. Ladyada, tell them the code and tell them what's on tonight's show.
Code is
Please.
temp 10% off an Adafruit store all the way up to 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. Use it or lose it. You also get a bunch of free stuff. We'll talk about that in a second. Go over our Adafruit live shows, including show and tell. We just did that. We got JP's product pick of the week highlight. We got some main New York City factory footage. A couple videos from Noah Pedro featuring some 3D printing. We got Iron MPI brought to you by DigiKey. This week it is ST Electronics. We got Top Secret. Got some cool videos to share. Got some new products. We can answer your questions. You do that on Discord. adafruit.at/discord. You can put your questions up throughout the show. You can wait to the end. Up to you. We'll get to them all. All that and more on, you guessed it, Ask an Engineer. So here we go. Code is temp. If you are in the US and you add stuff to your cart, you'll notice that you get free stuff. What are free stuff do they get?
That's right. If you are in the US and you book from the adafruit.com site, $99 or more order will get you a free PCB coaster made with black and gold PCBs. And you get like little 4 bumpers to protect your desk. If you order 149 or more, you'll get a KB2040, RP2040 based microcontroller board that's Pro Micro Pinout compatible. Order 199 or more and you get free UPS ground shipping in the continental United States again. And 299 or more, free Circuit Playground Express, our favorite round circuit board with all the stuff you need built in, like colored LEDs and sensors and buttons and buzzers that can run Arduino or CircuitPython or MicroPython or Code.org CS Discoveries or MakeCode or many other languages. It's a great way to get started learning electronics.
All right, and tomorrow is 4th of July in the US. A lot of people are going to be hanging out at home. It's a holiday for our team, so
Hot dogs, hamburgers, fireworks.
if you place an order today, it will ship on Friday or maybe even Monday, all depends. But know that there will be no order shipping out same day tomorrow, July 4th, Thursday. Happy holiday, everyone who celebrates. So we do live shows. And on the live shows, one of the live shows we do is show and tell. We just did that for the month of July. We'll have some guest hosts and more as we move our Adafruit factory to our new fancy location. We'll talk about that as we debut that moved in. But JP, Liz, no Pedro, Melissa, they'll be hosting show and tell over the month of July. But for now, we did have some Adafruit team members. We had Anne with 386 laptop. We have Dan showing off some new CircuitPython stuff. Bluetooth low energy.
Live.
And a heart rate monitor and a barbecue Bluetooth thing, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
And then we had JP showed off what we kicked off the show with, which is this
Servo Boss.
Servo Boss. You could check out his show on Thursday and get the latest with that. And we also had a little bit of highlight video when we opened up the show. And then we also had Liz showed off this really neat drop-in board for this IKEA air quality sensor. And then we showed some Visuino work and some module testing call for help with that. So watch all the show and tells, come on by, show and share your projects. It's always a good old time. You can even show like retro hardware. And then Anne did a guide. We'll talk about that as we get up to it in playgrounds. And yes, it does run Doom for those who ask. We do From the Desk Ladyada on Sundays. And then we do Great Search.
Every week.
Great Search has all of the things that you want to find on digikey.com. Ladyada helps you out. And then on Tuesdays, we have product pick of the week. Here is this week's highlight from JP.
The Proto Tripler Pi cowbell for Pico and Pico W. I have a Pico WH. You can see I have a nice big battery plugged into the battery port. I have a little breakout I had made for an encoder that happens to be 3 digital pins and a ground pin right next to each other, so I was able to just plug that into 4 pins on the tripler. I've got a DVI cowbell there. I have used the iSpy connector to connect up to one of our nice little TFTs. Go ahead and turn this on with this little on-off switch. NeoPixel's gonna light up there, display coming on, stuff with my rotary encoder that I plugged in there. You can see I'm just dancing the text around a bit and changing my NeoPixel color. This is also a push encoder, so I can click on that, and it's just like pressing a button. The Pi Cowbell Tripler for Pico and Pico W.
All right, and then tomorrow's JP's workshop, and JP will be moving a show on Wednesday nights during some of the month of July. Stay tuned for that. And then this Friday's deep dive with Tim, Fridays at 2 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Sorry, 5 p.m. Eastern. It's Python Hardware time. We do a newsletter. You can get the newsletter at Adafruit Daily. It is over 10,000 people subscribe to this weekly newsletter. No spam, no tracking, none of the things that
I got sold out.
Yeah, you got
My phone got sold out.
you
I
got
don't
text
know.
messages.
Now I'm on the text message hell.
So let's go over some of the things. There's a Raspberry Pi model guide if you want to check it out on Raspberry Pi Tips. There's a Raspberry Pi Connect remote shell access and support for older devices. They just announced that. That's kind of neat. Bluetooth manager for Linux. That's kind of cool.
I like this because it's so hard to use blues.
This Raspberry Pi patch boost performance up to 18%. Lots of Raspberry Pi stuff in this one because it's one of the. If you're running a Raspberry Pi, you're running Python. You just are. Pretty
Well,
much.
that's what the Pi and Raspberry Pi stands
You just pretty much are. How to get started with DSP now. Feather of the Day launched. We have a Feather of the Day series that you can check out on our website, and it'll also appear in the newsletter. And then there's a new podcast from people well known.
Our favoriteest people.
In the maker
we love
communities.
everybody, but
Yeah, Paul and Todd.
Yeah.
They did their July 1st episode. They discussed a new tutorial from Professor John Gallagher using CircuitPython with
this
Python.
is their 10th episode, I think, or 11th. They're like, they just started, but it's like, it's already hot. I'm into it.
The
I think
bootloader is a cool name too.
it's a great name.
Yeah.
And two, like, such smart, creative people with great voices.
So one of the things that we try to do with the newsletter is use the newsletter to lift up other people. That's kind of our goal for all the things we do. But check out the newsletter for other newsletters, for other podcasts, for other things you probably like. If you like Python on hardware, you're probably gonna like the bootloader podcast.
They talk about, obviously it's these two people love Python.
We have our projects of the week. This is a Spoke Cap Touch board. You can check
Wheel
out. Yep. And
it's like podcasts don't die; they just turn into a different podcast.
the custom circuit board uses Raspberry Pi Pico, USB, MIDI, and keyboard are all connected up via CircuitPython code. It's all on GitHub. And then we have our popular post of the week. This is the best Python cheat sheet. And then lots and lots and lots and lots of other projects.
The thing I thought was really cool. No, keep going down. Now, some of these things, they've been on the chip. I like this e-ink Python player. Keep going. I'm selfish, so I'm very interested in the C6 implementation of MicroPython that points to their GitHub issue, and apparently it's getting ready to be merged in. So there'll be C6 support. We have CircuitPython support for C6, MicroPython 2. It's always good to have two implementations because one might work better than others in some cases. Cool chip because it's really focused on IoT. It's got Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and Zigbee, 802.15.4. So it's good for, like making little mesh networks, little point-to-point communication. But you get all the benefits of, the RISC-V core and ESP32 chipset. So I'm going to have the C6 Feather out soon, so I'll probably make sure it works with MicroPython.
Alrighty, delivered each week, like I said, spam-free. We don't use your email address.
Not sell you out like whoever sold me out. And now I get like 16 spam texts a day.
Completely separate website, adafruitdaily.com has nothing to do with your store account because we respect your privacy and we hate spam more than you do. All right, we're going to talk about some open source hardware, including and mostly the guides that we have. So this week on the big board, Ladyada, thousands of guides. What's new this week?
Liz did a guide for the Feather RP2040 ADA logger. I think it's a great update from the M0 ADA logger, which is a very popular board. But it's MD21, so it's only running at 48 megahertz, only has 32K of RAM only, when that was so much. Now, 264K on the RP2040 is a minimum. With micro SD card and built-in NeoPixel and button. It's great for CircuitPython, MicroPython, Arduino. Anytime you want to read and write data, and Liz did a beautiful guide for it. Got the project from Noah and Pedro this week, IoT filament sensor. So I wanted them to try using, first we got this IR reflected sensor for detecting objects, but also Whippersnapper, our no-code IoT platform, now has Blockly actions. So using block-based ways of, like taking data from your IoT feeds and then performing actions with them without having like a form or like a pseudo language. It's all done with blocks. So I did a guide and it came out really good, very handy to know when your filament ran out. So you can run over and fix your print before it cools off and is impossible to fix up. Melissa also wrote a guide, or sorry, updated the guide on the web workflow code editor. We're adding USB support. It's still kind of in progress. It's a little beta. We're hammering stuff out. Not quite ready for mass use yet, but if you're a cutting edge person, check it out. And then, of course, JP's project this week is the Servo Boss.
Alrighty, and then in Playground, we have getting started with the Pocket 386, and just mentioned that on Show and Tell, that you posted that up. And then weather.gov, a truly free weather API. There's lots of changes in how weather APIs are done, but you can use the Gov. And see, Grover has an excellent guide that also, works with CircuitPython, because it's built for this type of thing, getting information on the internet and then doing lots of things with it on a microcontroller.
I actually, I really want to check this out because we've been using open weather maps and it's great. But so let's be honest, like these people don't own satellites, right? They aggregate and do data analysis on public weather data. We might have some sort of service where we have weather data for people to use where you don't have to we have a limit to it, but you don't have to put in a credit card. Maybe we'd have better services if you used Adafruit IO Plus or something, but I'm very interested because basically every weather service we've ever used has always gone corporate or closed off or requires payment even for low data usage.
Yeah, so right away you can copy the code right here, boop, or download the file, toss it on your CircuitPython drive, and start using a weather API for all the ones that kind of went away for a while.
Hey, thank you, government. Hey, we pay taxes. Let's get some cool data out of it.
Alrighty, let's do some made in New York City factory footage. Take it away, Adafruit Factory.
Yeah.
Alrighty, that's New York City factory footage. Let's do some 3D printing. We have a couple O projects. We're gonna show Noam Pedro's latest and then a speed up. And then after that, we're gonna do IoT. So take it away.
You can build an IoT sensor for your 3D printer so you can be alerted if you're out of filament. We think this is a great proof of concept that can help prevent failed prints. This project uses an IR optical sensor that can detect whenever an object passes by the sensor. The breakout is mounted to a 3D printed bracket right above the 3D printer. If nothing is detected, an LED buzzer alarm will be triggered, letting you know your printer is out of filament. A QtPi ESP32S2 reads the IR optical sensor and sends data to Adafruit I/O whenever it detects missing filament. The LED buzzer alarm is wired up to a Feather ESP32S2, so it's a separate device that can be in another room or workspace that's away from the 3D printer. This project uses Adafruit's Whippersnapper, so there's no code, making this really easy to set up and get going. Just install the Whippersnapper firmware onto the ESP32 dev board and add the optical sensor from the Adafruit I/O device page. From Adafruit I/O, you can create an action using the new Blockly editor to trigger the LED alarm whenever the optical sensor detects a filament runout event. We think this is a great example of having two Wi-Fi dev boards in a project that communicate together. This is great for CNC workshops and 3D printer farms that are in a separate room away from their operators. The optical sensor is wired up to a QtPi dev board using a 3-pin JST connector. Our 3D printed mount is designed to snap fit onto the aluminum extrusion that's fairly common in the frame of 3D printers. The QtPi is actually powered off the spare 5V USB port on the side of our 3D printer. A powered Darlington transistor is wired up to a Featherwing protoboard to properly drive the LED buzzer alarm. The Feather and Featherwing are secured under the 3D printed base that houses the LED buzzer alarm. We hope this inspires you to make your own IoT filament sensor and check out Adafruit's Whippersnapper for your next IoT project.
Alrighty, don't forget the code is TempHum. You'll see why soon. It's now time for my NPI.
On NPI.
On NPI, brought to you by DigiKey. Thanks, DigiKey. This week it is ST Ladyada. What is this week's new product introduction, also known as NPI?
This week's Ion NPI is going to be on the ST25T series. The ST25 is ST Microelectronics NFC reader tags, communication devices, and the T is their tags. I've historically used, NXP and other company tags, but I'm excited to see ST getting into the space and offering a lot of cool options in NFC tags because more competition is good. And of course, they bring their own, spice and innovation to the mix, which I'll show off some of the cool things that they've got here. But this tag kit has a couple of each of their tags, and these are NFC 4 and 5 tags, which is the latest technology. But even my phone that's like 4 years old had no problem reading them. So ST has a full line of, we even stock like their dynamic tags. They have passive tags, as well as chips for reading and writing, RFID, HF, 13.56 megahertz. So NFC is like a kind of RFID, but it's not just reading an identifier. You can write data as well, which makes it great for small data logging, customizable, cryptologically signed information, tamper detection, asset management, logging. You do have to be kind of close to read from the tags because the way they work is there's a little chip in the middle, and I'll show you some tags in a bit. And the tag body has a thin wire antenna that kind of usually like 1 square inch to 4 square inch in size. And then when the reader gets close, like from your phone or from like a tap to pay device, the electric field that is emitted from the reader is picked up by the antenna and it's used both for powering the chip, so you don't need an external battery, and it's very, very thin because there's no battery to manage, and you don't need solar, and you don't need, um, light or anything for a solar panel. And it's also used for reading and writing data. So, these modern tags, they read and write data very fast, like 5 milliseconds. So really you can tap to get all the information. You don't have to sit there and hold it. It's very, very fast because it's over 13.56 megahertz. I just love this. It's like, this is like the dream. Like Tesla had this dream of wireless power, that you use radio, or you could use, radio for powering stuff. But like, I feel like every day we honor him by using RFID tags. So this series is the ST25TV, which is the 5 tag. So the new stuff that comes in Form Type 5 is it's more efficient, which means the antennas can be smaller. And also it means that for the same size antenna, you can read it from farther away, which is kind of nice. They've kind of figured out more, the encryption has gotten much, much better. So you can really trust that if you're using the secured versions of these tags, that you'll get long-term data retention and secure data retention. So up to 60 years. So you can really use this for like long-term asset tracking. What's nice is because it has internal data, I think 260 bits or 2 kilobits. You can have all the information you need instead of having like a barcode or a QR scan that has to go to some external database that then maps the ID code to like the actual product or the data that you want to store. You can actually store all the data you want, like location or last inventory count or whatever, on the tag itself, which is of course always great, like less duplication of data. One thing that I thought was cool is I've used NFC tags before, but this is the first time I've seen a tamper detect register. So the way this works, I didn't screenshot it, but instead of having 2 contacts, there's actually 4 contacts. So 2 contacts on the chip are used for the antenna, and the other 2 are for a tamper-resistant wire. And when the wire is broken, the chip, the loop is open and knows that it was, the sticker was ripped or moved. And I was thinking about like tamper detection, like often you're using it to tell if a box has been opened. And when you remove the sticker, like it says void or something, like there's some residue left over, so you know that the sticker was removed, like you can't remove it like plain plastic tape and put it back. But the problem is that you're then relying on a person to look at it and notice that it was tampered with. Like you need a trustable human. And of course, if that human is tired or not paying attention, or is it on the grift, they'll say, "Oh no, it wasn't tampered." What I like about this is it's loggable. So if you're doing asset management, you want to make sure that the box wasn't opened, or it's used for medication or whatever. You want to make sure that the box wasn't opened or tampered with. You can, and you have an NFC reader that's doing the asset tracking for you. It will detect the tampering. You don't have to worry about like a fallible human, because the wire is so thin that anytime somebody moves the sticker, it's going to break. I'll show the tamper resistance over the overhead in a little bit. So that's kind of cool. So it's like a new feature that they've got. Coming in a couple different setups. Again, either 512 bits or 2 kilobits, different package sizes, different capacitance. The capacitance is going to affect the and maximum antenna size. So you want to match the antenna to the capacitance. Small capacitance, I think, is probably going to be smaller antennas. But you want to be matched up so that you get the most efficiency. So you can't tune the capacitance, but you can pick which one you want. Most of the time you're going to get tags that are formatted. Like you're not going to worry too much about the packaging or the creating that tamper resistant wire. You're going to buy ready to go tags, like from Tag Stand, who is the partner for TI. So let's go to the overhead and I'll show off some of these options. First is like the standard cards. The cards always work the best at high distances. And then if you want to read these tags, I'll be honest, you can use the ST app, but I really like NFC Tools. It's an app on the App Store for both Android and iOS. So this is the Series 2, and then this is the tamper resistant. So you can see here, this is the wire. So let's try reading this. I don't think it's going to know about the tamper resistance. I think for that you need to use the ST app, but it does have all the information in it. And then of course you can write the tag. So for example, I want to add like a URL, and then I'll say, st.com, and then okay, and then let's write it. Let's see if I can write this. I have a case on. Okay, yeah, so that worked. So then let's try reading it. So then when I read it, it's like, oh, I detected a URL tag. And then when I go to it, it takes me to st.com. So easily writable with like any phone and any app. Unleashing the power of AI. So yes, these are the I guess when if this breaks, there's like a little wire inside. Yeah, here you can see it. It's a little wire. So now that tag, when you read it, it'll say it was broken. And then there's on metal tags. So, if you have a metal box or a storage container, type 2, type 5 tags, different sizes. Of course, like I said, the bigger the antenna, the farther the distance. So you can see here the size. Actually, these antennas are quite small, but they work pretty well. And then I guess you can want custom printing, you talk to Tag Stand, and they'll be able to provide these for you, probably on a gigantic reel. And the chips themselves, you can buy them from DigiKey. Although, like I said, honestly, you'll probably get them prepackaged. But they're only like 20 cents a piece. So you can basically make a smart tag for very little money. And like I said, being able to store the temperature logging data or the date codes or whatever on the device, it means that you don't have to worry about a separate database getting synchronized up. So check out, just get the tag bag kit. So you get like, I think 20 different tags. Oh wait, there's this one was cool. Actually, I forgot to look at this one. So this one says an LED. Okay, so let's try this out. Hold on. I thought I was done, but I'm not. Oh, that's cool. Saw that?
Yeah, flash.
Yeah. I'm like not too close. There you go. If we get close, it's like, okay, I'm reading. So
That's cool.
yeah, so you can like, I guess, showing how it's so efficient that not only can you read from it, but it can light up 3 LEDs at the same time. Kind of neat. Yeah, and this is the 2-pad version. So nice big and flat, and then a nice big antenna.
Okay.
Cool demo.
All right. Available on DigiKey.
Yep, in stock. Pick up these tag packs, and then of course, chat with ST, and they'll hook you up with a vendor that will give you the tags and the size and format you need, especially if you want those tamper-resistant wires built in, because that's like a specialty for ST.
All right, and that is item cat this week.
Eye on API.
Okay, moving right along before you know product time. We're gonna talk about codes. Come on, and you get free stuff. So use it or lose it. Let's do new products.
New, 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 new.
First up,
Okay, we got 4 new products this week from the fabrication department. Some of them are coming soon, but because again the next month we're going to be, it's going to be a little wobbly about how and when we do our new products videos. I want to get these in so people can at least sign up. First up is a UART to RS-232 converter chip. This uses the TI Max 3232. Sorry, 2323. Or maybe it's 3232. I can't remember. 3232. So it's a 2-channel, 2-direction transceiver. You can give it 3 to 5 volts DC, which is nice because the Max 232 only takes 5 volts. It will double the voltage for the V plus line, have the voltage for the V minus line. And then you can have transmit and receive 2 channels. So you can have RX and TX, RTS and CTS. There's a low voltage side, which is 3 or 5 volts. And then the high voltage side, which is again, plus or minus 6 or higher volts. So great for interfacing with older technologies, older laptops, older sensors, barcode scanners, scales, medical equipment, whatever that uses RS-232. Especially if they don't have a DE9 or DB9 a DCEP connector, you can just wire up directly. So nice little breakout board, makes it really easy to do RS-232 interfacing.
okay.
Next up, we have an IR transceiver. By request, we have the IR transmitter in the store, and we had an IR receiver in the store. And people were like, well, what do I want both? And I was like, okay, I'll give you both. So this board uses a JSTPH 4-pin connector, which we've often used for I2C. This is not I2C. It's power ground, input and output. And the output is two 940 nanometer high output, like 200 milliampere per LED, horizontal and vertical. And we've got one 38 kilohertz IR receiver, and we've got like two little LEDs at the top to let you know when data is sent and received. So wait, I had a demo and I dropped it. 1 second. So good for just good for when you want to do projects that have both infrared remote receiving and transmitting. You do have to hook this up to a microcontroller to decode the IR and also to generate that 38 kilohertz signal. So let's go to the overhead and I'll show this real fast. So transmitter LED, receiver LED, high power and channel FET to drive them, and then a receiver. And then on the back, this is labeled. So ground is the black wire, V in is the red wire. Signal in to drive the LEDs is green, and the signal coming out from the receiver is white. So let's just power it on. So I'm going to use this other breakout kind of as a cheat code. Green LED just means it's powered up. And then if I want to connect the green wire to power, you'll see, well, you'll actually see the in and out because the IR LED, you see them lighting up. It's signaling into the infrared receiver because it's so bright. So this is the transmit. So you would normally connect to a microcontroller and it would blink it on and off very fast. And then to receive data, you use an IR remote, and then you can see the IR LED in LED. That's kind of bright. Maybe I'll shade it over here. There you go. So the in receives data from IR, so you can use both. So good for like projects where you have to like read data in, resend it. You're doing relay, or you just have a lot of remote control stuff you're doing.
All right. Next up.
Next up, a Type-C downstream vertical port. So you have the horizontal port in stock. People really love it. But maybe you want to go topside. So this one has the port sticking up. So it's a little bit of a bigger breakout because we have 2 rows of header to make it mechanically strong. But great if you want a port to stick up. So if you want to mount this on something, you have 4 mounting holes so that the port can stick up through an enclosure. So maybe I'll show it on the overhead real fast because it's a very easy to demo. So I put 2 strips of header. They're the same pins, and then you get all of the IO. You get the 2 CC pins, the 2 SB pins, data minus, data plus, VBus and ground. So there's 2 5.1K resistors here, which means by default the VBus is going to give you 5 volts. But if you want to hook this up to a power delivery chip and negotiate higher voltages, you can totally do that. It's just set up for downstream 5 volts. So by default, you want, like I was just showing, the IR breakout board. This is just connected to a USB power supply. I can connect this up and it's instantly powered because I don't have power delivery, so I get the voltage out. Some USB-C power supplies will not do it unless you have the resistors, so those are handy. And I don't know, nice vertical style. A nice strong connector too. I picked a good one. Sorry, Liz picked a good one. And this is designed by Liz, so she this is her first PCB design for us. So Blitz City is learning how to do EagleCAD, and we were using this part for another project, and I was like, let's design a breakout, and that's what she came up with.
Okay, and as far as show tonight, besides you, Ladyada, our team, our customers, our community, and everybody who makes this thing go is
the HDC 3021 precision temperature and humidity breakout. We have a lot of temperature and humidity breakouts, I know. So it's like, what's another one? So the reason I like this one is there's a couple things going for it. One, it's the most precise and accurate temperature and humidity sensor I've seen so far. I believe it is 0.8% accurate on and precise on the relative humidity typical, and 0.1 degrees C on the temperature, which is better than the SHT45. So it's kind of like the best available right now. I like that it's 3 or 5 volt compatible, so there's no level shifters or regulator on the breakout board, so it can be very, very low power. It can run as low as 1.8 volt power and logic. And there's a reset pin, which I think is handy. It's got like NIST traceability identification codes in it. And there's 2 jumpers on the back. You can change the address. So you can have up to 4 of them on one bus, which is unusual. Many times these precision temperature and humidity sensors only have one address. And so you'd have to use a multiplexer. And the price is really good. It's less expensive than other temperature humidity sensors. And again, is more precise than them. So and sorry, more accurate than them. So this is a pretty sweet sensor. We've carried the HDC like 1008 series and the 1000 series. So it's good to see TI step it up and come out with a nice, good sensor. We featured this on the Great Search, and I've got a breakout. Arduino code is ready to go, and CircuitPython library is coming shortly.
Alrighty, and that is new products.
New.
Okay, we're going to do top secret. I'm going to play those videos, and then we're going to answer your questions. Put your questions over on Discord. I have some lined up already. Let's do one quick question that has something to do with the last product we showed. Get through that one real quick. Do you need to compensate for pressure altitude?
No, usually you have to do the opposite. Usually pressure is has to be compensated by humidity.
Okay, let's do top secret. All right, what's this?
Okay, now you might be saying, I've seen this NeoPixel blink 1,000 times. Yeah, but have you seen it running on a CH32V203 G6? Well, today you have. So working on finishing up this QT Py, like I said, WCH RISC-V processor, very inexpensive. It's like 38 cents, 35 cents in quantity. But it's really powerful, 144 megahertz, 10K SRAM, and 32K of zero weight flash, plus maybe some extra flash. Working, getting all the peripherals working, and just got NeoPixel going. This is like another one I've just got wired up over here. To do the code, I've actually, it's in Arduino because I'm using the Arduino IDE, which is what makes it so much fun. I actually kind of just made a quick bit bang version of the NeoPixel write function just in my sketch, and then just raw writing that data. So it's not integrated into the NeoPixel library yet, but it's working. So now we know what we have to do to get it integrated. And then, of course, if you want to do even more NeoPixels, you can use the PWM or SPI peripheral. But this will let you bit bang on any pin, which is great. And it looks wonderful. So I'm really excited to see this hardware fully tested and ready for booking.
All right, Ladyada, what's this?
Okay, what I've got here is this is my WCH 32V203. So it's a RISC-V processor, very low cost. And I've got it wired up to a potentiometer. And over here on my monitor, I've got a plot. And so you can see as I twist the potentiometer, the plot goes up and down. So is this interesting? Yes. Why? Because if you look over here, this is happening in Arduino using Teeny USB. So all I have to do is import the Teeny USB header, and I can set up USB CDC through the USB port all in Arduino. So it's a lot easier to use than Makefiles, although if you want to use Makefiles, go for it. With Teeny USB support, we can now use the built-in USB port to send data. So we have to make it a little smaller. It uses a lot of flash memory, but it works quite well. Nice and fast, too. You can see quick updates to the data coming out from the analog read. So yeah, more hardware testing. Going to get this into the store soon.
All right, what's this?
Okay, so my favorite thing about the QT Py boards, which are based on the SHAO format from Seed, is the QT part. It's a STEMMA QT port, which means you can plug and play like hundreds of different sensors from the Quick, STEMMA QT, Pico, whatever. Lots of people have similar JST SH connectors for I2C sensors. So for example, here I've got my favorite easy to use temperature and humidity sensor, the HD20. And I've got it plugged into this QT Py CH32. This is just one that's soldered to a board. The only thing is that we're still working on getting the USB serial through the USB port to be like less space consumption-y, because it's like using up all the flash. And we don't quite know how to map the external flash in yet. So right now I'm actually just using the hardware UART, so RX and TX, into a USB serial like FTDI cable. But as you can see on my computer, it's getting, if I breathe on it, get the RH a little bit higher, you can see the temperature and humidity are coming just fine. And the best part is this is just the default I2C wire demo for the HT20 library in Arduino. So I don't have to do anything special to compile it. It's exactly the same demo everyone else runs, except now it's running on a low-cost RISC-V processor. Very exciting.
And that's top secret. Okay, and then don't forget, for anything you saw in the product, use code, free stuff in USA. We're going to do some questions. We have them lined up. We'll get through them right away.
Pick it.
So, first up, the question is, I can't answer this one because I have an idea, because I was reading this. Is there any module that listens to every word and spit out it via serial? No. No, there isn't.
There isn't, but
yeah, there isn't. However, I think I know what you want to do. You want a wake word to then tell a microcontroller to do something. Check out like our Pi badge, and we have this like Braincraft badge. You'll see, and look at some of the videos I did. You'll see the limitations of something like that. Like you can train your own, and you can try to do it. We had to use Docker. You can do all this stuff. There's some microcontrollers that can kind of do it, but what you might want to do is find a microcontroller that already has certain words programmed in, and then when you say it, it does something. But it might not do what you want, which is, I think in the chat you were saying like open CD player, play movie.
It's actually quite hard. Look, I mean, there's a reason why like Alexa and Siri can't do this barely.
Yeah, so we've tried to train our own things on the edge, and then have the wake word or the word. Check out the videos that we did in our Pi badge. I made a little thing that would do yes or no questions, and it had a little Tron thing on the screen. It was really, really hard. Other options are things like,
they're so terrible.
Well, yeah, other options are like Raspberry Pi could do it probably, and then
if you're using a IoT service, like I think like Amazon does have a voice recognition service, you just have to pay for it.
Yeah, so check that out. Next up, hello engineers. Questions about GPS. Do you foresee any future boards with U-blocks?
I do. I actually was talking this week about how like I have these Max 10S samples, and it's been kind of sitting on my desk for a couple months. I do want to get back into doing more GPS stuff.
Yeah. Someone also mentioned you could try Edge Impulse because they could do training with devices. I would really like to see someone go start to finish just for that type of project. Like train your voice with Edge Impulse, put it on one, and then show what a custom wake work is. Because I don't.
It's challenging.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
that'd be a good.
Espresso says they can do it, but you have to.
It's really hard to do.
It's very hard to do.
All right. Next up. The RPI AI kit, yeah, it's just not in stock yet.
As soon as they send it to us, we'll put it in stock. Sign up, and we'll notify you as soon as we get it.
Yep. From a NES engineer, thanks for your work in making electronics and programming accessible and affordable to people. Thank you. Yeah. Anyone know the voltage of the tag chip runs on from the inducted current? Just curious, more anything else for the...
I think it's going to be like about a volt. It's very little, right? It's like you need a lot of current. And so, with microwatts, you have to convert it. So I think you can look at the data sheet, but I think it's probably like 1.2 volts.
Yeah. Any thoughts on RS-485? Most automation equipment uses RS-485.
I don't use it very much, but I should probably take a look. Maybe I'll make a little adapter. Maybe I'll make a little like shifter board for people to start with. I have I think a USB to RS-485 somewhere here.
Yeah. What are your must-haves for the new location? Well, power requirements, because we have machinery.
Yes.
We also, floors have to be, giant, thick concrete floors, tall ceilings. We also wanted enough space to grow into, and a building that we can continue to grow in space. We kind of maxed out where we're at right now. And it'd be nice to be able to, maybe have an entire Adafruit building at some point, but we can do that where we're at now. Things like amenities for our staff and all the things for our...
a train station nearby.
Yeah, just all the
Some
things.
places did not have good train access.
Yeah.
That sucks.
And
did not have food.
We want it to be in Brooklyn because most of our team is in Brooklyn, and that means that they'll have an easier commute. Other things that are really important is... the place that we want to go to is promoting industry. We're going to a place in Brooklyn called Industry City. Therefore, they're promoting it. So it's definitely a place for makers and companies that want to build. And we'll do tour videos just like we did before in our current space. But that'll be, the next month or so. We'll be doing that.
Yeah.
So
and one floor, that was really important.
Yeah, we all want to be on one floor because we grew so much in our space that we have 3 floors. We want to be on one big floor
one
together.
big floor. It's just like
Yeah.
so much easier to get around.
And other things is just being able to manage our freight elevators the way we want, have a more
More passenger elevators.
yeah, more secure building. Like we want to be able to have a checkpoint where people are swiping badges. We have, I'll just straight up say it, in our current space, because people can fool the front desk and there isn't a barrier to get in. I've had to call the police because someone wanted to like murder Lamore straight up. Like,
Don't
sorry,
murder me, come on, man.
straight up. That has been a time in my life.
It's like, yeah.
And it'd be better if we had a more secure, like the elevator wouldn't let people up if they didn't have a key card and stuff like that. Because that's something I've had to deal with in the last 15 years. Sucks, but welcome to having an internet presence. So those are the things that were must-haves for us. Lots of bike storage, bike racks inside of Adafruit, parking spots for our team. There was some green building stuff that was important to us. So those
And
are
there's
just
more space if we need to expand. There's more space in the building. That's great. A lot of it's just it's a good spot. It's a good spot.
yeah. So that is all the questions.
Okay.
Thank you everybody for
It's 8:50.
coming by. That's our show for the night. Don't forget, here it is. Use it or lose it. Get the free stuff and more in the USA. This has been Native Fruit Production. We'll see everybody next week. Bye bye.
Thanks, everybody. Well, we won't see you next week, actually.
In some way.
Well, yeah, in some way.